McDavid, first overall pick of the 2015 draft. Gene Principe went over his numbers. 19 picks later, Joel Eriksson Ek leads the Wild with 28 goals this year. We are underway for what should be a beauty, the rubber match of the season series between the Edmonton Oilers and the Minnesota Wild.
In that game versus Boston, but they're happy to have him back in the lineup. And for Chris Knoblauch, like the top line the way it was, so he stays in the second line with Draisaitl and Kane.
Kicks it back to Darnell Nurse on a pair with Cody Ceci. Shot kicked to the corner by Gustafsson. And flipped out towards center. The Wild have had an interesting week. A 10-7 victory outlasting Vancouver on Monday afternoon. And then a 6-3 loss to Winnipeg the next day. Here's a shot and a save on Marcus Johansson. The minute in the Pacific. Reversed by Kaprizov. Wild don't care. They're just trying to get in. Here's a steal by McDavid, backhander short side, and that was repelled.
Some meat out of their lineup with Foligno out, Maroon out, Bogosian out. They've got some fast players that have filled those holes and play a much quicker game and get on you.
Edmonton's got 14 who've only missed 2 or less.
Big difference.
John Merrill
have been banged up.
Sharp angle shot, a save made by Calvin Pickard. Spirited fight with Logan Stanley in the loss to Winnipeg. Ryan McLeod back on the puck for the Oilers. He'll shoot it. Save Gustafsson. Rebound loose. And Janmark. Kaprizov. And Eriksson Ek had a 6-point game in that aforementioned win over Vancouver. Chisholm. Shot. Score! Eriksson Ek, we told you he led the club in goals. That's his 29th as he extends his own career high.
And this has been a lot of talk for him. 29th goal of the season, if this counts. Now, it might be offside. It's really close.
Boy,
as you can see, Kaprizov was right on that line coming through. Now, they are motioning an official over to the Oilers bench, so they believe this is offside. It's going to come back. But that's the lightning-fast release of Eriksson Ek this year. And for the last couple of years, just an absolute rocket picking that corner. But it's going to come back. It looks like that's a short review.
Coach's challenge brought to you by Specsavers, quality eye care and
After review
eyewear.
of the play, it was deemed the puck was offside prior to the goal, so we have no goal.
At his own blue line. Now in his 12th year, just an anchor on the back end. It's really helped out the penalty kill over the last dozen games since coming back. Zuccarello short side. They're a little more poised and structurally committed. Yep.
That's a John Hines team, too, as well. He's really a detailed guy.
Boldy breaks loose and denied by Calvin Pickard. Zuccarello. Oiler penalty kill struggling mightily lately, and a save by Pickard on Matt Boldy.
Talked about this morning, want to be a little bit aggressive on pucks, turn things over.
Here's a one-timer ripped on net and a save made by Calvin Pickard through traffic. You're not going to bring that 6-year-old game in here and dominate me. This is my ice.
They're not competitive at all.
Here's Perry. Perry in front, short side, and that was stopped. Striding in from the left-hand side, threw it around. Duhaime, a shot redirected, and a pad save made by Calvin Pickard. That was the game in Edmonton. The Wild led on 2 occasions, and neither club was able to hold it. So both teams mindful. The first 2 are a little wild. Here's Middleton. Boldy with a good chance, and he scores! Matt Boldy set up by Middleton. And Minnesota takes the 1-0 lead on Boldy's 21st of the year.
You're going to watch Middleton come up the ice here, and there's one poke check on him, a backtrack, one miss right there. And because that puck is missed, it gets shoved over to Boldy. So it's Ekholm who's aggressive coming across. Boldy recognizes there's some space, one quick move to the middle, and he releases on the fly. It's just backhand, forehand, it's off of his stick in a flash. And that beats Pickard. I mean, that's a 31-goal scorer.
Been a harbinger of tough times for the Oilers. They've been outscored 16-5 in their last 6 second periods.
Now, well, you look at that first period, Jack, and they had 11 hits in the first period, 7 by defenseman Edmonton. Only 4 from the 12 forwards. Needs to be ratcheted up.
Boldy gives it up. Middleton jumping down the left wing, pushed one wide, and then a drive by Faber, spun the corner by Pickard. And what you're talking about there is a much heavier forecheck.
Absolutely. Get on the forecheck, make some defensemen here, footsteps, turn a puck over to start to spend some time in the offensive zone.
Faber up the right-hand side, down to one knee is Boldy. Backhander, that clipped the side of the net. Kaprizos. Hyman will skate into it. Took a hard check from Merrill, shrugged it off, stays with it. Beautiful spin move, hard to the net, short side. Save Gustafsson, rebound, and Gustafsson able to keep it out.
Well, this is a good move by Hyman. We didn't see a lot of this in the first period, but we talked about bringing the puck to the net. Bob Stauffer talked about the forecheck. I talked about the physicality. Has to be ratcheted up, has to be more urgency, and right there.
Draisaitl's got 13 of them this year, and he pulls it back to Bouchard off the draw. Nugent Hopkins. Oilers in search of the equalizer. McDavid hit another post. Again going short side on Gustafsson. Finding Nugent Hopkins. McDavid. Draisaitl, one-timer scored. We're tied. Right on cue, the Oiler power play delivers. And this crowd, easily its loudest all night. 1-1.
To find him. This is the first sequence, and McDavid's running a couple bars, as you mentioned. That one on the forehand side, on the backhand side in the first period. This is a beautiful little play here. That little spin backhand pass by McDavid. Receives it on the forehand, spins, knows exactly where Draisaitl is. Well, especially their top line, they had a lot of perimeter play. They did draw some penalties in that second period. You heard John Shannon talk about discipline being a huge factor in this third period. They've got to get away from taking those penalties. This has by far been the best period for the Edmonton Oilers this year, and especially the last 2.5 months. They have been dynamic. They've closed out wins, and they've been able to come from behind, but they're relentless so far in this third.
Eriksson Ek and Perry engaged. Eriksson Ek able to tag back on side, and now Minnesota looks to assert itself in the offensive zone. Kaprizov to Chisholm. Brodin fires, scores! 2-1 Minnesota. Wild take the lead for the second time tonight.
This line once again, puck in the offensive zone. They find possession. They have been all over it the entire night and have been able to maintain that pressure and hem whatever line they're up against in. And this shot here, just a lot of traffic in front of Calvin Pickford. Brodin has a lot of time to walk in. And actually, this one just goes through. You know, for Pickard, he has that glove in the spot, and he gets a big chunk of it, but it plows through. But, I mean,
McDavid, Draisaitl, and Corey Perry out there, but the Wild were able to come up with a face-off for one of the rare times tonight. And now it's Hartman in front. Reshot, score! And Matt Boldy in transition has his second of the night. And for the first time this evening, Minnesota has a 2-goal lead. It's 3-1 on Boldy's 22nd.
Finds Boldy, and he finishes it off. And little bobble here by Ceci, but it's the pressure once again on the forecheck. Just getting in aggressively. You're going to see Hartman. He tries to throw this aggressively through, but the changeup finds Boldy. As you can see, Nurse was in the right position, but because this puck is slow, Boldy takes the inside track, changes the angle. That quick release, again, his second of the game.
Draisaitl able to reel it in. Power play at 25 seconds. McDavid to Draisaitl, backhander, hit his own man Hyman. Return to Bouchard at the point. This unit spent most of the time in the offensive zone. Draisaitl fires off the back, rebound, score! Hyman tucks it home. Edmonton's second power play goal of the night brings the Oilers within 3-2.
Just set things in motion, but just keep moving that puck around, give Minnesota credit. They were defending, they were battling, but eventually that hard pass by Draisaitl from the side. Zach Hyman flares out, and he finds the loose change and jams at home. This is kind of a shot, I believe, by Draisaitl. Gets deflected.
Play to the opposite corner, Merrill. Now Mermis coughed it up. Steal by Ryan McLeod. Desharnais shot. Guided to the corner. Another shot. Save made. Down and out. Gustafsson still loose. Four-player pile-up. Grabbed by Corey Perry. The shots in this third period, 20-4. But Minnesota has 2 of the 3 goals. The Oilers pouring it on. Fire it in. Hyman behind. Spinning. Still loose. Saucering. Over to Leon Draisaitl. Couldn't get it to McDavid. Bouchard held it in brilliantly. Zuccarello shoots at the empty net and scores! .4-2 Wild, buck 27 to play.
Got a second whack at it. Minnesota bent but doesn't break. And it's Zuccarello with a second opportunity. Great.
And it's slapped down the ice by Jake Middleton, and there won't be icing. The final score, 4-2, and the Oilers have lost back-to-back games for the first time since mid-December.